Okay, so in this video what we want to do is get from this idea of individual demand to this idea of market demand. Now I've done the shifts first. Many books kind of just go from individual to market, but I don't know, I just think you need a bit more of an intuition of what a demand curve is before we do this. Hence I've waited until we did all or covered all of the non-price determinants of demand. So again, don't forget, and this is really important, right? Don't forget what we're doing, the 9 central themes and the first real world issue. But what we are doing now is building up to at least the demand side of the market. This is the buyers. This is everybody in the market for one good. Let's think oranges. Another market will be apples. Another market will be watermelon or whatever, right? So we're thinking that we're trying to derive the total societal demand for a single particular good. All right. Now, again, you don't know what competitive markets are, and well, I mean, no one's fault, but I'm saying I haven't told you yet. And that will be more of a HL topic when we get to the end of microeconomics, right? But right now, I just want you to know that we are trying to, and keep this in your mind now, we are trying to aggregate to the total demand for one good that exists in society. Okay, so that's really important, that it exists in society. So with that, let's go on and have a look here. So the demand schedule shows the quantity demanded of a good at each price. Now guys, please do not forget, there's no such thing as the quantity demanded. There's the different quantity demanded at each price. As the price changes, so does quantity demanded. That's what the law of demand proves. Well, it doesn't prove it, but we'll prove the law of demand in later videos. So please understand that. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to say, look, if we, actually, I'll go back here. Just if you want to take a photo of that there, guys. So pause the video and take a photo of that. And all we're going to do is just derive that. Okay, so this is what we're saying is the individual's demand for ice cream. Thousands per week. That's a good one. He certainly loves ice cream, this fella. Okay, so what we've got here is the demand curve, right? So we've got the title, price, currency, origin, quantity with units per time period, and then we've got our D1 here for the demand curve, and that's pretty much all we can do right now. Now, what's the demand curve show? And again, delighted to repeat myself. This shows the relationship between the price of a good or service and the quantity that is bought. It is normally downward sloping. So we've got the demand curve there. All we're just going to say is we know what that is. We know that that just represents combinations of the price of a good or service and the quantity that's bought at each different price. Now, individual demand, no, we're not there yet. Individual demand refers to the quantities that would be purchased by an individual consumer at different prices. Now again, we said, well, we didn't, I did, in the opening video to this series on demand, that capitalist economies rely on markets to answer the 3 separate questions. What's to be produced, how it's to be produced, and who gets it. So in order to analyze market, we better be able to flip and well get the market demand for something. All right, so in order to analyze whether markets work or not, we need to know what the market demand is. So this is what market demand is: the horizontal sum of the individual demand curves for a product of all the consumers in a market, and it really should say at different prices, and I would like you to add that if you would when giving your definition of market demand. Okay, what does that mean? Well, let's have a look at this. We have 2 consumers here, nice and fancy colors. Now, what I want you to see is that the set of prices are the same for the 2 consumers. That has to happen in order to aggregate market demand, in order to calculate. €5, €10 and €15, €5, €10 and €15. Okay, obviously the prices are different because 5 is different to 10, which is different to 15, but the set of prices here, 5, 10 and 15, are the same as the set of prices here. Now, just looking at this, and some people get it and some people don't, but if consumer 1 is going to demand, the first person is going to demand 60 units of ice cream, I think we're saying, at a price of 5 per week, right? And the second consumer is going to demand or buy 80 units of ice cream per week at €5. So at €5, what is the total demand or the market demand for ice cream, assuming there are only these 2 consumers? Excuse me. Well, the market demand for ice cream at €5 don't forget, it changes at different prices, is 140. Now, where did I get that from? Well, I added 60 to 80 to get 140. Now, what about €10? So we would expect with the law of demand that the quantity demanded would fall as the price rises, and it has, both for consumer 1 and for consumer 2. So if consumer 1 is going to buy 40 units of a good at a price of €10, and consumer 2 is going to buy 60 units of a good at a price of €10, to get the total amount bought by everybody in the market, and we are assuming it's only these two, we add the 40 quantity demanded at a price of 10 and the 60 quantity demanded at a price of 10, and we get at a price of 10, the total market demand is 100. Now, I understand that the definition said the horizontal sum. That will make more sense when I go to the diagram. So let's have a look here. At €15, consumer 1 wants to buy 20. And at €15, consumer 2 wants to buy 40. So therefore, the market demand, given that there are only these two consumers, at a price of 15 is 20 plus 40, which is 60. Now, I really hope that makes sense. So take a photograph of this, guys, because this is what we're going to graph. And I want you to graph it in the way that I'm going to show it right now. Okay. Now, so what we are saying here is we're going to draw the first graph. And this is painful because I had to fit everything in. So what do we have? We've got our title, we've got our price and currency, origin, quantity, which is thousands per week. Apparently someone is buying 60,000 units of ice cream per week, which fair play to him. I don't think he's going to be alive for too much longer. And then what we're going to do, this is consumer 1. So what we're going to do is plot the dots of price and quantity. That's all we're doing. Then we join the dots and we get the demand curve for consumer 1. Right? Haven't gotten to the market at all yet. Don't forget, we're saying the horizontal sum. Okay, so we're again got everything, all the prices, quantities, units, everything there. Plot the dots, right, for consumer 2, join the dots, and we get the demand curve for consumer 2. At each price, at each price. So, how do we calculate the market demand at each price? Given that there are only two consumers? Well, at a price of 15, and I won't go too much into it because I've already explained, at a price of 15, touch this, go down, got 20 for consumer 1, touch this, go down, 40 for consumer 2. So therefore, we need at a price of 15, 20 plus 40 is 60. At a price of 10, we've got 40 units demanded by consumer 1, 60 units demanded by consumer 2, and therefore at a price of 10, we've got 100 units demanded, and apparently that is 100,000 units per week of ice cream. Fair play to them. Now, at a price of 5, we go out, touch it for consumer 1, that's 60 units, 60,000. At a price of 5 for consumer 2, that's 80 units, and therefore at a price of 5, that's 60 plus 80, which is 140. We join these dots. Now, where did we get these? At each price, we added across the quantities to get the horizontal sum. And that's what market demand is. If we add up the amount that each consumer is willing and able to purchase, again, at each price, we have to, by just pure logic, get at the market demand, the amount that would be purchased by everybody in the market at each price. And that is something that I really need you to understand. It is the quantity that each consumer is willing and able to buy at each price, added together. And that will give us the derivation of the market demand. So if we look up just here, okay, consumer 1 plus consumer 2 equals the market demand. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope this helps, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing the next video.